Hello, hello, hello. Here we go again. Let's get Ivy on. There she is. There she
Hey,
is.
working?
Ooh, we're getting faster at this.
Okay, good. Okay, let's see
Hello.
here. Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm thinking
Yeah.
it's just been like kind of just like a day.
Okay, what are we on day 24? Are we on day 25?
Yes. No, wait.
Okay.
Yeah, day 24, right?
You look
Wednesday, Thursday,
great
Friday.
and radiant. How are you feeling?
It's day 25. I
Oh,
feel lighter,
yeah.
of course. Um, I feel leaner, of course, and I have I have good energy. My energy's fine. Oh, hey, everybody coming on.
Yeah, hey everybody. We've got a good conversation today. We've got a
Yep.
really good conversation today where we are talking about traveling and not becoming constipated, because that is such a thing for most people. I mean, and I don't know how much of a problem this is for men, but I know a decade of working with people shit. Women, this is a huge thing. Huge thing. Is it for you, Kimberly?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I don't travel a lot, but I have some stories. I have one in
Good.
particular that I can add to this conversation for sure because
Good.
it was awful.
Okay, yeah, and it normally is, right? Like I
Oh my
know
God.
from everybody that I've ever worked with, probably surely, we all have at least one travel story where constipation wreaked havoc in every part of our trip. And that's normally what happens. It used to be that way for me, and it still even is. Like I go out of town even for like a handful of days, and everything just wants to stop up a bit, and there's a number of reasons why this happens to us, and there's a lot of ways to, if we can't prevent it, at least really really work with it so that at least we're getting some good movement and it doesn't affect everything about our trip, right?
Yeah,
So
I,
how about for
I'm
you?
eager
do you
to
want
learn.
to do you want to start with your story?
Okay, yeah, I can tell my most tragic constipation story of all time.
Uh-huh.
So I went to the UK, and of course that's like a 9-10 hour flight, right? And it's like, be sure to drink water, be sure to drink water. I don't even remember if I did, but for me there was no amount of water that could have helped. I was not prepared for this. I think it was maybe my second time going, and I arrived, and of course I was constipated, and I tried all the things. Like I tried um senna. I tried coffee, super strong coffee. I rubbed my belly some, but it had gotten so bad a couple of days in, there was nothing. And I just kept eating, and, because I'm on vacation, so I'm eating and I'm trying to do these things. I'm having alcohol and tacos and all this, great stuff. It got to a point, it was so bad. And I had no idea about colonics or enemas or anything. I
Mhm.
had no education on this. It got to a point where I had to get lube and a glove and get involved.
I love that this talk is getting real 5 minutes into it.
Well, that's the only way I can be, it seems.
Yeah.
But,
Really, you ask
oh,
any
yeah.
woman, and we've all got a horror story about being constipated away from home, right? So
No,
what
it
ended up
was,
happening for you? A
well,
glove and lube?
I had to go in, and it was like removing like hard, like rabbit poop, like those
But big
hard
and
little
bald,
balls.
right?
Maybe
Yeah.
not that small, but lots of. I mean, I could feel how impacted I was. I tried to use the restroom so many times. I tried to have a movement so many times, knees up, all these things, but I was so far gone and
Yeah.
so impacted. It was, I had to go in, and then I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
once I got enough out
Yeah.
to where I could move, then it was bliss. It was bliss. But it was making me sick. It was, I mean, jet lag, constipation, they do not go well together. It was so bad. So bad.
That's terrible. I'm
I
so
mean,
sorry.
it's
You.
if you have
If what?
If you have to go in with your hand and get involved, you know it's bad.
You know how fortunate you were that you had a glove and lube?
I know.
Most people don't have that. But yeah, no, I mean, it can get very, very serious. And from like an anatomy standpoint, why we get so bunged up, like right at the base of our colon, like right at our rectum, is that, we've got that external sphincter, and then a couple inches up, well, the external sphincter being the butthole, a couple inches up, we have another internal sphincter, an internal butthole, if you will. But like that, in that couple inches, that's where we can get so much poop just lodged that's like almost ready to come out, and then it's just not quite, but it almost can end up like stretching into being like a just big pocket. Like it stretches, which we don't want it to, so it ends up being this pocket that's tight on the top with the sphincter and very tight on the bottom with your bottom sphincter, and then it just gets so impacted. And that's when we have that situation that you've had, and I used to have so many times when I was a once a week pooper for 20 years. It's like you end up almost having like a brick that ends up forming and becoming more and more dehydrated, right? It's all the rabbit turds, but then they get so jam packed together, right? So that it's almost like this big fat cylinder that needs to come out that can't come out a tiny hole, right?
Yeah.
It's like having a baby when we're not dilated yet. But, right? Kind of, yeah. So even in 2004, I plugged a toilet at the Chicago O'Hare Airport. And those are the toilets that basically have like jet engines on them.
Yep.
But even I remember I talked to my grandma because she watches all of our episodes on poop. And she talks like about how, I've learned so much about this already. But, it's like even hearing like my grandmother's story of, going to England, and it's like, you don't poop for 10 days. It's like, how many days would you go without pooping when you travel somewhere? Like for most people, it's very easy to go 6-10 days. And that's so much food when you think of all of the things that you eat when you're on vacation. And there's so much more bread and alcohol, and we just get so jammed up. And then you don't feel sexy. You don't feel good in your clothes. You don't want to have sex. Right? Like you just want to eat, but it's like, but you're so aware of like, you don't want to put more stuff in because it's not coming out. And it's just a constant thing that you can't escape, and you're constantly feeling while you're on vacation, right?
Yes. Yeah. It doesn't go away because it has to come out to go away.
Exactly. And then normally like maybe you're in a bikini because you're actually on vacation, or you're on a business trip or whatever, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And just like you were saying, I mean, you eat different things when you're on vacation typically. So you're eating stuff. So even if it's not air travel, that the air travel just sort of seems to suck the water out of you anyway. But even if it's not air travel and you're traveling via automobile or train or whatever, there's still that, you still end up running into that situation. At least I do. Or it's the opposite, because of what
I mean, the opposite is so much better. Still, like most people will be like, I will take diarrhea over constipation any day, right? I would, truly. How about you?
Yeah, true, right?
Yeah.
But but typically for me, it's the difficulty of going.
Oh yeah. And so like you said, like of course this happens when we're air traveling places, because like air travel, let's just quickly say, like you said, it is so dehydrating. Like literally our bodies are 37,000 feet above the surface of the earth. We're made of earth, and because of the electromagnetic field of earth and the electromagnetic field of our bodies, while we're in this human incarnation, we're supposed to be on the planet, like literally the closer that we can be to the planet, the better. And then you've got all the recycled air, nobody is really hydrated ever when they fly anyways, because you get a cup like this, right, of drink. Right, we get so caffeinated and everything, and then everything is all the recycled air, and so we get so dehydrated just going through the airport thing.
And people, at least in my experience, people that I know are sort of scared to drink a lot of water, because then they're gonna have to urinate a lot of times and have to get up and get up and get up, and that's for car, that's for airplane too.
So true. So true. Yeah. Especially like that. Yeah. And so, right, we get, like you said, air dehydrated and constipated on the airplanes, also in the cars, in all the places. So like some of it is like, right, it's what we're eating, because even like airport food, it's like crap. Airplane food, it is crap. Gas station food when we're on a road trip, it's normally crap. Like, normally you can buy a banana, if they have bananas by the till, but it's like you got very limited options on good things.
Right.
And so we've
Right.
got all of those like diet and hydration reasons why we're getting constipated. But then there's like the energetic reasons too, right? Of like, I'm away from my home. I'm not in my comfortable bathroom. I don't have my things. How many other people have sat on this toilet? How clean is this? Right? Like for me, there's also those things that come into effect. And then I think even for me, like being away from home, I feel sometimes just a little bit more anxious, even if it's just very, very subtle, because you're in a new environment.
Yeah.
And you're not quite sure what all is going to happen. So just a part of me is just like, but it ends up being like my butt is like, we come as much as like we're relaxed, but we're also like a little bit of a tight ass. And so even just being away from home, right? Do you find that at all too?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm typically an anxious traveler anyway. So I I have that tightness regardless, that holding in regardless. It's hard for me just to let go, which has an impact on letting go too. But it's hard for me just to let go and be in the moment when I'm traveling because it's the unknown. And I've had a few instances where things have happened. So, I'm like,
yeah. Okay. Yeah, exactly. And over there, let me see my notes here. Yeah, that's most of the reasons why we're going to be getting more constipated. Is there anything else that you can think of to add to that?
no, I mean, no, but just what I just said and is like that we mentally, emotionally are holding on, and that has an impact on the poop shoot too.
Oh yeah. Do you find that like even if you're like on a relaxation vacation? Because even for me, like when I'm going someplace joyful and for joyful reasons, often for like the first couple days, I'm still bunged up. Even if I'm like really having a good time, even if I'm relaxing, even if I'm like really, really emotionally comfortable, I still get bunged up.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not good. It's not good at all. No. Have
Help
you
us,
ever
Ivy.
done
Help us.
what?
I said, help us, Ivy. Help us.
Oh yeah. Well, have you ever done have you ever had a time where it's been really, really good? Like for me, I always have to get through a couple tight days and then things can start moving as long as my diet's been on point. You?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm sure there's been a handful of those times as well. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just nothing that I can recall at the moment, but I'm sure there has been. But yeah, typically it's the beginning, because in the beginning I start out super anxious anyway.
Yep.
So add that. So and then depending on the weather, I can relax.
Oh, exactly. Well, let's talk about all of the things that can help us. Let me just get my notes up here. Because, really, there's a lot of things that we can do while traveling that are definitely going to constipate us more. And then there's things that we can do that are going to help as much as they can. So maybe actually let's quickly talk about, what are the things that we do when we travel that is concreting the situation that our poop is going to be like concrete in our butts. Right? So what are the things that we're doing when we're traveling that are shooting ourselves in the foot? So, I mean, first thing I'll think of, well, you already said, is when we're in the airport or when we're on the road trips, we're not drinking water because we don't want to inconvenience the driver and make a stop every hour or two. Or I hate going to a bathroom on a bathroom on an airplane. Because the part that I don't like the most, honestly, is I don't like causing a commotion. I don't like having to get somebody to move. I don't like stepping over somebody. I would always sooner hold my bladder because I just don't want to interfere with other people. You know what I mean?
Yep.
How about for you?
Same. And I had something in my mind and it kind of left. But if it's at night and stuff, for air travel, you want to be able to sleep and relax, so you tend to not let your bladder get filled.
Okay.
Or at least in my experience.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was overnight.
I just want to sleep. I don't want to have to get up, even if it has nothing to do with anybody else. I want to be able to sleep, and if I, drink a lot, I'm gonna have to pee a lot.
Yeah. No, you're so right. So are you thinking of like when we're traveling or like when you're even like at your location? Oh, did we freeze? Are we good?
Yeah, I think we froze for a second. I think we're good now.
Okay. Okay. I don't have very much reception here. Let me know if it isn't good. Yeah. Are
No,
we good?
your reception's good. It's good.
Okay. Okay, cool. So is that for you just on like the actual travel days, or is that also like when you're at your location?
Well,
Not
when I'm
when
at my
you're
location, it's typically what I'm eating. I'm now I'm a better water drinker, but then, I might have a couple of drinks, have some wine at night. And then, there's a lot of sweets. There's just a lot of kind of shit food that I tend to partake in when I'm on vacation.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well,
like
and
you, breads,
yeah.
pizza.
Yeah. The crackers, like if we're eating any of the dry stuff, like even like when we're at our hotel or whatever, it's like, don't go for the cereal. Definitely don't go for the bagel. Don't go for the toast. Don't go for the muffins. Like anything, that's dry in the continental breakfast or whatever we're doing. Like if it's dry, it's going to constipate you more because in order to digest it properly, that dry muffin or cereal or bread or crackers or what else? Popcorn, even chips and stuff, like all of that, it's going to suck moisture out of your body so that it can get moist enough just to properly digest. So like if we're eating any of that drying food, it's going to make things so much worse. If we're just going for coffee and not drinking water, so much worse, right?
Yeah.
What else do we do to
I always say at hotels, I call them bread breakfasts because it's always like some sort of breadish stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And often it's very processed. Often, and at least these days with COVID, when I've traveled, it's just like, it looks like it's like the gas station pastries and stuff almost that are like prepackaged. And it's like, we got to recognize that that's really not food. It's going to constipate us. And one crazy thing, when I was in Peru like 10 years ago, I was hiking the Inca Trail, and there was like maybe 6 pharmacists who were also in my group hiking the Inca Trail. And these are like incredible, brilliant Asian pharmacists from Canada. And the whole time, because they so much did not want to poop, they were taking Imodium the whole trip. They were taking, right, so diarrhea medication, even though they didn't have diarrhea, just so that it would constipate them more, so that they would not have to handle taking a bowel movement on the trip. So there are honestly people, and like educated people, who will intentionally constipate themselves so that they don't have to evacuate in an unknown restroom. So if anybody out there is doing that, don't do that. That's how you make diseases. And it's, especially if you have a medical background, we should understand that. But what else do we do to shoot ourselves in the foot? Because like drinking alcohol, that normally has more of a stool loosening effect, for people than a constipating effect. So as much as like, drinking a bunch of alcohol isn't the healthful thing, I don't think that that's actually something that will constipate us, do you think? I mean, it will add to yeast and other issues.
A bit.
Oh, well, yeah, very, very true. But what else do we think we do that shoots ourselves in the feet?
Like not our typical movement.
Yeah.
So if we exercise typically on a regular basis or do yoga or something like that, we're not moving our bodies the same way. I mean, we might be walking or laying around a little bit more, especially if we're at the beach or something, it definitely, you might be doing more sedentary activities.
That's a really, really good point. That's a really good point. And then also I just thought of a lot of people will hold in their poop, and even if we're just like holding it in for a bit, kind of like, oh, I don't want to go find a bathroom right now. I'll go when I'm back at my hotel or something. It's like even that of just like kind of sucking it in for like even half an hour, that will like literally when you're sucking in your poop, it's like you're contracting the muscles at the base of the colon. So like it's going to squeeze it, like it literally is going to squeeze that poop back up into the intestines further, and then it's going to hang out up there and become more dehydrated, therefore get more stuck, therefore be a lot harder to bring back down. So like when we're traveling, if you're a person that will hold in your poop until it's like a convenient time to go, don't do that. That's definitely shooting us in the foot and creating more constipation.
Don't
Is there,
hold your poop.
no, no. Is there anything else that we would do? Drying foods, alcohol for the dehydration, being more sedentary, energetically, emotionally not feeling comfortable to release, holding it in. That's probably most of the things I would think, right?
That's what's coming into my brain right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then, so a lot of how do we travel then and not become super constipated? And also then you feel more bloated, right? Then you feel more inflamed. Then often, oh, great, I've got a headache now for the next 3 days in my trip, right? Like, how else does it affect us? We become more moody. We become more irritable.
Yeah.
Then I get breakouts. When I'm like, if I'm constipated and holding my poop in, it's like my skin starts doing things. I start getting hivier. Does it do anything else for you? No, yeah, you're right. No energy. Also, then you're holding in farts all the time while you're like in your pretty dress or at your fancy restaurant or doing whatever, right?
Yeah.
Which is super uncomfortable. So then you have to be a ninja with that. That's stressful.
Yeah. Stuck in the gut so that you're not all poochy and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and then you can barely breathe and you're just like taking little gasps.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, it's terrible. It is terrible feeling constipated. And then maybe you're gonna end up like rushing to a drugstore and like getting one of those little fleet enemas that has like the mineral oils in it and it's not really. You start feeling sick and like it goes on and on and on. But if we're just a little bit prepared and thoughtful, we can make this so much easier, right?
Yeah.
So let's start with how do we do that better? And so maybe we'll go about this in like just no specific order, just keep it nice and random. And the first thing, since everybody knows that we've been talking about enemas for like the last month, and we are working on the Frenema program for everybody, or our public enema program. But the first thing for me always is like I do enemas or colonics for myself multiple days beforehand, like a good few days in a row, and then I eat lighter, like I eat cleaner because I don't want to be eating anything that's like causing me to get backed up. And then that way, if I've been doing enemas for a couple days, then it's like everything is moving so good, I'm feeling really cleared out. And then normally I will do an enema as close to my travel time as possible, whether I'm flying or whether I'm driving, even if that means that I'm getting up at 5 a.m. to quickly give myself an enema. It's like I always just want myself to be as cleared out before I do the actual journeying of the travel. And I really find like when I travel by air, that's very, very helpful, because then it's like I don't have all this food/poop in my belly getting dehydrated when I'm 40,000 feet up there.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So
yeah.
I love doing enemas like 2-3 days in a row beforehand. Have you?
Okay.
I mean, whenever you travel,
you're educating me now.
Okay.
So I'm like, so this is me learning. But that sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds wise and great.
Yeah. So start off with a clean palate, and then like that first day when I'm eating, like the first day or the day that is the travel day, I will do whatever I can to make sure that it is like tons of fruit going into me. And if that means that when I'm at the airport or when I'm in gas stations, or if I got to bring something with me, it's like I'm finding the apples, the bananas, the oranges, or I'm bringing watermelon or like whatever it is. But like, because we know that for stress reasons and dehydration reasons and energetic reasons and comfortability reasons, that day of travel, our buttholes are just going to tense right up. And shit is going to get dry in us. So like if we were able to do enemas the days before, awesome. So that we're already cleaned out, we're feeling more alkaline. And then on that travel day, pump yourself full of fruit if you can, and even like raw veggies. But for me, it's like I go for fruit because it's so waterful. Oh, isn't that a beautiful word? Waterful. Yeah. It's so waterful, living water, all the fiber, all of the energy, all of the enzymes. So like that travel day, on that travel day, do not eat the nuts. Do not eat the crackers. Do not eat even the granola bars, like if you can. I mean, if your goal is to truly keep your bowels moving so that you feel good, you feel sexy, you're not brain foggy, you're not extra stressed and emotional, right? If it's really worth it to put in the effort, that travel day is like fruit day. or like fruit and a big salad day, or get some greens juices. But even when it comes to like juices, I still say go with the fruit as much as possible, because the fruit, again, is so full of fiber and water, and we want that watery fiber to be moving down our pipes so that it can just keep moving. And fruit is so easy to make good poops. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, and it moves through your digestive system pretty quick.
Exactly. Unlike heavier foods, unlike getting, the Panda Express at the airport or whatever it is, that's just going to be like heavier and more sluggish. And I just reminded myself of something, but now I can't remember what it is. And it was something related to something that you and I have talked about recently. Okay, it'll come back to me. Yeah, but doing so much fruit that first day if we can. Because it's even possible, like, what I was going to say is, do you remember a couple months ago when you and I bought all those books on water? But we were both reading different books on water. And the book that I was reading on water, that was written by two different doctors, they were saying that when you're at the airport or on an airplane, if you have the option to drink 2 bottles of water, or let's say you had the option to drink a bottle of water and eat an apple, that if you choose the option of drinking a bottle of water and eating the apple versus drinking just 2 bottles of water, no apple, you will be more and longer hydrated by the bottle of water and apple. Isn't that so interesting? And that's because the living water suspended within the apple with the fiber, it has a much more lasting hydrating effect on the body. So I thought that was really, really interesting. So maybe drink 2 bottles of water and eat 2 apples. I think that that's a better idea. Or like 6 bottles of water and 6 apples. That's a good travel day.
That'll clean you out, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Apples, especially when you're doing like a detox or a cleanse, and you're reducing your intake of food, apples are really great for the water and the fiber, and they move through you very quickly.
Oh yeah, and they're super medicinal for the liver and the gallbladder, because the malic acid in the apples actually softens the gallstones. So especially like if we're healing and cleansing and purging, it's like, because sometimes we do need to detox out our gallstones, we want them to be soft as they get expelled through the gallbladder ducts. So like apples are really, really good for that. So if oh my goodness, you and we should do the Miracle Liver Gallbladder Cleanse soon. Do you know about that?
No.
Okay, maybe we'll do that soon. But for that, it's like you drink a liter of apple juice every day for a week, because you need it to soften the gallstones before, on like the very last day, we're going to try to expel the gallstones. So you work for a week with apples and apple juice to soften it. So that it's really, really interesting.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. So
there's a question. Did you see that question?
No, again, just like last week, I can't see anything happening. Since we started, I'm seeing nobody join. I'm seeing no comments, nothing. So you have to be my eyes and ears.
Yeah. All right.
So tell me what it is.
Okay. So sisters, thank you for this talk, Divine Timing. I am currently experiencing adverse effects of a heavy metal detox protocol plus insomnia that led me to hallucinations and a 24-hour visit to the ER. Any recommendations to support my healing process? Can I say something?
Absolutely.
From what I've learned, and Ivy can probably speak more to this just because of her vast knowledge, but just when I'm on a big cleanse right now myself, and sometimes we go too fast, and so we have a lot of toxins in our bodies. If we didn't adequately prepare and alkalize our bodies, we go too fast, so we have all these toxins and they're not able to get out fast enough. So I'm not sure if you're fasting. If you're fasting, you might want to eat. So like eat some potatoes or something easy. But that's usually, from what I understand, that we go too fast with our detox, and there's nowhere for this stuff to go. And if you're not doing enemas, then that's not helping the process either. So if you're doing your enemas while you're doing your detoxes, then that's going to get more out, and you won't have as much toxic waste in your colon, at least. What else?
Well done, Kimberly. Well done. Read me again. What were her exact words?
I'm currently experiencing adverse effects of a heavy metal detox protocol and insomnia that led me to hallucinations and a 24-hour visit to the ER. Any recommendations to support the healing
Yeah.
process?
Okay, yeah, your
And 5
recommendations
days
were
of diarrhea. Yeah,
okay, 5 days of diarrhea.
too fast. Too fast.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, no, that definitely sounds very fast. And so, yeah, number one thing would be like, are we doing any enemas, right? Because the colon is the main organ of detoxification. So if we're doing a heavy metal cleanse, and we can be purging heavy metals from like literally any tissue and cell, like organ of our body. So like, we definitely need to be doing enemas. Or colonics, right, just to help remove this toxicity, because again, like heavy metals, they're also neurotoxins that will affect the mind, which could, right, relate into hallucinations. But also, are we doing any psyllium and bentonite, or even like activated charcoal? Because the psyllium will help to firm up the bowel movement, so that it's hopefully not as much diarrhea. The psyllium will also help pull things out. The bentonite is going to hold 40 times its weight in toxicity and can also bind with heavy metals. So to be doing something like a psyllium and bentonite cleanse, and right, episode 34 of our podcast, we talked through all of that. But to be doing psyllium and bentonite during this as well, and like definitely be doing enemas, also, are we doing a probiotic at the same time, just to help like reestablish the good colonies of bacteria, because that's going to help like fortify the whole ecosystem. And then also, how hydrated are we? Because it's like, we need our body to be so well hydrated while we're cleansing, because it's like, if we're dehydrated, even the blood is thicker, and the blood is part of what is cleansing out the body. So we need the blood to be thinner so that it can move. We need the lymph to be more fluid so it can move. Like even like dry skin brushing, are we creating some movement in the body? Yeah, so it's like, how hydrated are we? How can we help out the bowels with psyllium and bentonite? And definitely with enemas. And Kimberly, your idea on like eating a mono meal of potatoes or something very, very gentle like that is brilliant. Brilliant. Because like eating food like that is warming, it's cooked, it's very, very simple. If we mono meal it, so like just eat your potatoes, just eat a whole bunch, like, steam them or boil them, like a little salt and pepper, but just to keep it so simple and so graceful, that will slow things down and also keep us from feeling so sick. Or even like a bone broth, like a broth, because a broth is going to have like all of the building blocks of like what the body needs to be really, really nourished. Whereas let's say if you did like a greens juice or something right now, that could actually make you feel even more detoxy. But potatoes are a great idea. What else do you have?
And then she also said, would an infrared sauna help? It could, if you're actually really, really hydrated. So
Yeah.
it's the hydration. So if the water you're drinking is not really good water, like purified water without all the chemicals. So if you think about it, if you're doing a detox and you're eating and drinking stuff that is toxic, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. It's a cyclic thing. So you really have to go for the best water, distilled water, Kangen water, especially, reverse osmosis, maybe even adding some minerals to your water, a little bit of salt to your water to help.
Not table salt.
Not table salt. Do you want Himalayan sea salt or Himalayan sea salt?
Yeah, perfect.
She said she's hydrated, but she's got Mount Shasta water.
Oh,
So-
okay, amazing for Mount Shasta water. But you may want to wait. Yeah, eat some potatoes. You may want to wait though on the infrared sauna until you're feeling more stable. Because again, even though it's infrared, that part's great, but still, even infrared can drastically like speed up the healing, but that also means like speed up detox, which might not be what you want. But also, if you're already feeling like this, we don't want you sweating in a sauna, like not until you're more stable for sure.
Yeah, and we got to thank you. So.
Oh, cool.
Good.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't see anything happening on my side last week too. Like literally nothing since like the first person joined. So I don't know. Oh well, you let me know as soon as there's something else.
For sure.
Okay, good. Okay, so when we're traveling, what were we talking about? We're doing enemas or colonics beforehand if you can. On that travel day, trying to be so hydrated. So like what I do now is like when I'm in the airport, every opportunity I can, I am buying their $8 waters and I am chugging them. And I am buying all the fruits or like whatever I can find there, or even if it's a way that I can travel and like bring some fruit in my carry-on, I will do that. So like options like that, like there's generally ways that we can hack the system a little bit. If you have anything to add to that on like hacks for airport or...
Well, I mean, you said it. There's a lot more places that offer fruit now, and like fruit bowls and smoothies and juices. So there's a lot more of that. And I was going to say something. Now I can't remember.
Okay. Well, and
I'm thinking
also,
about it, but
well, when it comes back, say it.
yeah.
Okay. Also, when you're in the airport or like when you're on travel day, if you feel like if you sat on the toilet, you could even get like a little nugget of poop out. If there's a way that you can even get a little bit of poop out, sit on the toilet and get it out. Okay, because like your colon, right, is about 4 to 6 feet long, and if this is the beginning of your colon, it comes up and around, it comes down to your little poop hole. If we can even get some stuff moving out, then all of this stuff is all gonna shift. And then next opportunity we have, if you can just, even if it's like getting one more like little nugget out, get it out so that everything can keep shifting, okay? That's so much better than even just holding it all in until like later or maybe tomorrow, because then all of it is just gonna stay jammed up there, and the longer it's in there, your colon is constantly soaking moisture out of it. So think of your poop as like a ticking time bomb that if we don't get it out, it's gonna wanna stay in there forever, right? The longer it's in there, the more stuck it's getting. No, really though. So in that way of like, because often I remember like I feel like, well, I could probably poop just a little bit, but it's not going to be much, so I might as well not even bother. I just don't want to. But it's like, no, sit down on that toilet and try to get that poop out, but also don't strain too much because hemorrhoids, right?
Because hemorrhoids.
Yes. Yeah. What else to help? Okay, so now I want to add some ideas of well, hang on. These are just going to be random ideas. I'm sorry that they're not in any perfect order, but that's life. So one more thing is like when I'm traveling by car, you guys know that I've got a whole bunch of those 5-gallon blue water jugs. It's like I will take one of those, like if I'm driving in my car on a road trip, I will take 5 or 10 gallons of good quality water with me, you know, and even those like whatever size of water containers you have, you can typically go to any Whole Foods or most any even Walmarts, and for 39 cents a gallon, you can fill it up with really good, well, it's pretty decent quality water. You know, so I always travel like when I can, I will take my own big water containers, and even like I'll take 2 of the 5 gallons and I'll fill them up with Kangen water, and then one of them stays in my car and then the other one stays in my hotel room, so that my water bottles or whatever, when I'm in my hotel room, I'm filling them up with Kangen water. And then also when I'm in my car, like if I have them both that way, it's so easy to travel and stay hydrated. Yeah. So that's one way to do it if you're taking your own car. If you're landing somewhere and renting a car or whatever, or say you're traveling with somebody else, like you can go to most any grocery stores or even gas stations and buy like in the gallon carton, like the milk jug carton, you can buy gallons, you know, a gallon at a time of distilled water, or sometimes they've got them in like a weird thing with a spout and it's like 2 gallons or 2.5 gallons. Yep. So, you know, it's like there's lots of options, but I would always say like when you're traveling, if you are able to actually like get a big thing of water, whether it's even a gallon or 2 or even just the jugs, you know, because a jug, it's like 99 cents or $1.29 for a gallon of water. And it's like, if you just buy one of those a day, keep it on you. That's so easy. And that's your whole gallon for the day, and it costs you $1.29. That's so easy. That's stupid easy, right? Yeah. Like for our worst case scenario.
I travel with a lot of water too. So
yeah, you do.
Now that I have a Kangen water machine, I mean, I just, you know, for this intensive that we just went through this past weekend. Yeah. I was like, you know, remember I was worried I was going to run out of water. It didn't run out of water because I take. So like I fill all my little blue bottles, and then my giant blue bottle, and then I have my little bags, and then I have like, you know, the gallon things that you were talking about, 2.5 liters here. I just fill all that stuff up. I probably take more water containers than I take stuff.
Yeah, probably. But it's like, but water is what we need. Water is what we need. Yeah. And so you can do it like either of us, you know, it's like I do it in 1 or 2 of just the big 5-gallon things, because for me, it's just like, that's easy. And Kimberly takes all of her smaller containers, you know, like we're different people and we do different things. We do it in different ways. So you got different options on how to do it, but it's all going to elicit the same result, which is amazing. Yeah. So, okay. Right. So when we're traveling, it's like, figure out what your water situation is going to be, plan for it in advance. You know, like I've already figured out when I travel to Canada to visit my family, it's like I know my mom has a reverse osmosis system, you know, and it's like, and I'll get some of like just the 1 gallon things or whatever. And it's like I know how I'm going to set up, how I'm going to have ample water all day, every day. You know, I never want to have to rely on buying bottles of water that are like 591 milliliters each or whatever. You know, it's like I don't want to have to just figure that out and keep buying new water bottles. And, you know, it's like I would rather just like, even again, if you have to buy the gallon jug, that's great. That's easy, you know?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then when you can, it's like if that's what you're doing for the whole week that you're away, buy them all at once just so that you have them, so that you don't ever have an excuse of like, oh, I can't get back to a Walgreens or whatever it is.
Yep.
You know, it's like this, it's very easy for us to plan for when we just really actually think about it.
Right.
And another thing that is super, super helpful. Yeah. So we always want to have our water figured out. Another thing that's very helpful, of course, is taking our psyllium and or bentonite clay with us when we travel. It's so easy. Psyllium husks, they're dried. You can even get them in capsules. We suggest getting just the regular husks though, you know, that are loose, but either way, it'll work. And taking your bentonite clay, you can take it as a liquid or you can take it as a powder. You know, sometimes a powder is easier to travel with, but these two things are brilliant to take because number one, that psyllium, it's going to keep scrubbing your whole digestive tract down. It's going to keep things moving, even if we're eating the sandwiches and the stir fries and the sushis and the pasta. That psyllium is going to be a lifesaver, right? Oh, I'm sorry to talk about food. But right, and the psyllium like feeds the good bacteria in your colon. It also acts as an appetite suppressant, which can help us not gorge ourselves and become gluttonous on our holidays. And the liquid bentonite clay, it's going to help with the alcohol that we might be drinking. It's going to help reduce yeast and candida if we're eating all of the pastries at the fancy little cafes and all the things. But then also the bentonite is going to help if we're doing something that gets our tummy upset. You know, if we do something that would normally create heartburn or bloating or an upset belly, or even if we like get kind of like a little bug or anything from any of the foods that we're eating, like bentonite clay also acts as a natural antibiotic in the body, which is incredible. So again, of course, your psyllium and bentonite are always brilliant to travel with. And especially like, don't start doing them on the day that you arrive, because psyllium often can kind of almost have a constipating effect for the first couple days. So ideally, we want to already be on a regimen of taking psyllium and or bentonite clay on a daily basis, right?
Yes. And the way I do that is I use the powder and the husk.
Bentonite powder?
Yeah, just for travel-y parts. So then I put them in baggies. I portion it out in little baggies, and then I take the baggies with me, and then I take a milk frother with me.
Okay.
And then, I mean, you can shake it, I'm sure, but I have a thing about the milk frother. It just does it really fast. And then I don't have to worry about nuggets. Typically don't have to worry about any nuggets that, you know, that the psyllium makes. So as I'm putting the psyllium in, I've got the blender going at the same time. And those little milk frothers are pretty small. I just put all that stuff in the top of my cooler.
You mean like the little one with like the tiny little wire whisk on the end? It's like battery operated, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's what I use. And so, I just portion it out and then I'm good to go.
Okay.
And then so that way I don't have to get a spoon and I don't have to measure and I don't have to open something and I just dump it in my water and zip it up and drink it. Okay,
perfect. Okay, so that is one way to do it. I opt for a jar. I never ever thought about using a milk frother. So I just I often have like from an old pasta sauce container. You know, I have a house full of jars. I can't get rid of jars because I'm an old lady in that way. I'm a grandma at heart and I've got lots of jars, you know. So I'll just bring a jar and I'll just shake the crap out of it. But I do like having a straw with me because I find it's just easier for me to get down the psyllium and bentonite, because the straw, I can kind of like keep mixing it up and get all the stuff at the bottom instead of it settling at the bottom. You know what I mean? And even for me, I never ever measure out my psyllium or bentonite anymore. I honestly, because I've just got them like in jars on my counter. So I'm just like, boop, boop. So once you get used to it, you can eyeball it or you can pre-measure it out like Kimberly. Like we're just showing you, it's like there's different ways that we can do this, but we're doing mostly basically the same thing, and doing these things in these ways will elicit the result that we're all looking for.
Yeah. And I would say after you chug psyllium and bentonite, chug water.
Yes.
So I drink my psyllium and bentonite in about 10 ounces of water, and then I drink 10 ounces of water after I drink the psyllium and bentonite.
Okay, awesome. Okay,
That's
good.
my protocol for my cleanse, and then it just makes sense to me. It just helps push it down.
Okay, perfect. So wait, you take it with 10 ounces and then you drink another 10. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. And then I mix mine up with about 30 ounces of water all in one thing, and then I just chug that down. So see, we're doing virtually the same thing, just in different ways. So again, like as long as it's just like these things are coming into your body, but you're drinking it with plenty of water in that moment, not just plenty of water over the next hour. No, like in that moment with it, because it needs the water so that it can like puff up and fluff up and become this incredible cleansing agent. And so even if you opt to have the like capsules of psyllium and bentonite or activated charcoal, if you're doing it capsule related, same thing, take the capsules and then you chug like your liter or quart or at least like 20 ounces of water right then and there. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
No.
Okay. Another thing. Okay. This is just a random side note. I always travel with oil of oregano no matter what. Not because of my butt, not because of constipation. I just want to say this in this conversation anyways, because like, it's so easy for us to like pick up, like feel under the weather when we're traveling or anything, let alone in this global pandemic right now. So I always take my oil of oregano and I always take it on my travel days because like I feel like my immune system is just like supercharged.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
that's just there for food for thought in case anybody needs
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so then also with constipation, vitamin C. Okay, everybody, high doses of vitamin C is extremely safe. Very, very, very safe. Like for instance, like I think for cancer patients with liposomal vitamin C, they'll have you taking like, I think 150,000 milligrams a day, which is like 150 grams of it, and that cures cancers. So vitamin C is an incredible antioxidant. And the only negative side effect of taking huge amounts of vitamin C, not even huge, just larger amounts of vitamin C is loose stool. So if you're traveling, you want if you're predisposed to travel with constipation, to make that stool a little bit looser is exactly what we want. So normally, if people are taking between about 6,000 milligrams or like 6 grams to 9,000 milligrams or like 9 grams in a day and kind of split that up into two doses in the day, that generally will keep the bowels moving pretty darn great. And each person, like you want to take enough until you have a good bowel movement. What do you want to add to that, do you think? Like I normally buy them in 1,000 milligram capsules so that it's easy. That way I would take like 3 or 4 of them in the morning and then like 3 or 4 of them in the afternoon. And that normally for people that are often constipated, vitamin C is amazing. You've taken it?
And you can, yes, I have. And you can also take it in, it also can be in a powder form.
Okay, perfect. Or even chewables, if that's what people like doing. Yeah. Just often they slip in a bunch of extra ingredients into the chewables, so be careful with that crap. Yeah. And I know like vitamin C works amazing for my mom. I've got girlfriends doing the vitamin C who are constipated. It works great. You know somebody that it's worked for, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That just joined, actually.
Oh, fantastic. So everybody, again, I can't see anything, but vitamin C helps us poop so well. And yeah, typically around 6,000 to 9,000-ish a day works for each person. So basically keep increasing it until you have a good bowel movement and then like keep taking it every day. Also, Smooth Move tea. That's a tea that helps people very, very well to have bowel movements. I know a lot of people swear by it.
Tea.
I
did have a little like addiction to it for a while though, when I was addicted to the laxatives and stuff. Okay. So now it's just an occasional. Well, I'm a super pooper anyway, so I really don't need it. But
yeah, you are.
Yeah. Occasional thing.
Okay, good. So everybody, Smooth Move tea is great. Just again, like we don't want to be really habit forming on these things because we want to be like doing the things that actually enhance the functionality of the bowels, like the psyllium and bentonite and drinking enough water, like not just relying on natural laxatives. That's not what we want to do. We never also want to be like relying on senna. A lot of people go for senna, but senna is not a healthy long-term thing whatsoever. And again, also let's say, because we've never said this yet, we don't ever want to be using laxatives. Laxatives and stool softeners, don't be doing that when you're traveling. Don't be doing the crappy enemas that have like the mineral oils and stuff. All of that stuff is just going to jack us up worse. And that's really not what we want to be doing.
Yeah. And can I add?
Drinking enough water, eating our fruits, especially our fruits on the travel day. And then on the days when we're traveling, it's like, it's ideal that we're doing like fruit for breakfast or even intermittent fasting, but not eating like heavy stuff, salty stuff, bready stuff, granola-y stuff. Like, you're gonna be better off if you're not doing that stuff in the morning. And even like when we're at restaurants or whatever, like get the really good pastry that's going to warm your heart, you know, but it's like, just do the things that really, really enhance the quality of your vacation, you know, but where you can, opt for the healthier things, get the fruitier things, go buy that smoothie, go get that green juice, like do the good things for you so that you can really enjoy your vacation, right?
Yeah.
Right. And like, you know, when you're at the restaurant, don't get the French fries, get the salad, you know, or like whatever you're doing, like try to fill your plate up with the vegetables and try to get just like one good, like big serving of fruit in a day.
Yes, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And fruit earlier in the day, ideally.
Yeah.
What else do we want to cover here? And again, we want to poop whenever we can. Like anytime that you feel something might be there, go sit, you know. Let's talk about the physical things though that can help us move. So like another part of getting, like keeping the bowels moving, it's like right often it's like we literally tense up and we forget that in our hands we have incredible healing abilities. We can do so much to manipulate the body with our own little cute hands. So like by by rubbing the belly and jiggling the belly, like we can do so much. We can do so much at like physically moving stuff out. What else is helpful to, like in the morning, if we can actually like go for a long walk. If I walk down a refrigerated aisle in the grocery store, it makes me have to poop. If I go into a swimming pool, it's so annoying because then I have to get out because it makes me have to poop. You know, so also like, do you know, are there certain things that make you have to poop? Because we're all a little bit different in that. Like if I stick my finger in my belly button, it makes me have to pee.
Target
makes you poop?
Uh-huh.
TJ
and bookstores.
Okay.
Bookstores every freaking time.
Okay, so if you know the place that makes you have to poop, go there. But what else? We've got belly jiggling, which is literally like you grab your belly and you jiggle. You can shake yourself around, doing twists, doing squats, jumping, running. What else, Kimberly?
Swinging.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That just feels good.
Yeah, squatting nice and deep. What else?
I think you said all the things.
That's a lot of things, right? Let me just go over these notes here. Rubbing our belly. We want to avoid the dehydrating foods at all cost. Move your body. Maybe go get a massage.
Oh, breath work.
Oh, breath work.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All those deep belly breaths are always helping to move and massage the colon. Mm-hmm. What else? Yeah, and then when you're drinking water, like try to always drink a lot of water in the day. Like really get your gallon in, you know, and especially like earlier in the day, chug the water. And also, right, if we're drinking alcohol, make sure that you're really on top of your water also for that. Right. You know, have your drink, have your water. Have your drink, have your water.
Yes. I mean, also alcohol, we said it already, it's very dehydrating and full of sugars, and a lot of those drinks are just sugar.
Oh yeah, and chemicals.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So even if, you know, when we're on vacation, we're going to feel better the cleaner that we can eat, you know, like, yes, it's on vacation and yes, enjoy yourself, but where you have options, like do choose the better options, you know? And if there's something that is like, that's really not good, but you really, really want to have for some reason, because it's a vacation, then like the other things that you're ingesting during the day, make them better, you know? Exactly. And also like, right? Yeah. Make the other things great choices and like go with the 80-20 rule. Like, let's make sure that we're eating about 80% alkaline. Keep like, if we can keep at least 50% of our food raw in the day. So like raw fruits and veggies. You know, like I feel like I always have a constant tally going in my head of like, how much raw food have I eaten today and like how much alkaline food, you know? So like even like my husband made like a cooked dinner, and even like looking at cooked food, it's like, it's glorious, it's delicious, but like I had to go cut up a whole cucumber, because like I can't eat a meal, like a cooked meal, unless I have some very fresh vegetable of some type. Do you know what I mean? So it's really good to get yourself in that habit, because when you're eating that fresh living food, it's like it's full of not just water and fiber and minerals and vitamins, it's full of enzymes, and enzymes are what keep us alive. And when we cook our food, we're killing all the enzymes, and we're also dehydrating our food as we cook it. So yeah, another important part of traveling is, when you can, eat raw fruits and veggies. Oh, okay, and here's maybe one of our last big tips: chew your food.
Oh, yeah.
Because like we can say all of these things about how to eat, but if we're not actually chewing our food well, what's it supposed to do? Right? Yeah. Again, the only teeth that we have in our digestive tract are right here. Right?
Yeah, I mean, energetically, chewing your food, you know, your body has to use less energy to digest your food, so you'll obviously have more energy if you chew your food better. And then it processes faster and better and moves faster.
And then you're also going to absorb it more. And then you're going to poop it out better, right? Like literally, digestion does start right here. And right here with like good ideas.
Yeah.
Right?
And I would think that too, chewing your food makes you more present.
That's really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if we can add on to that, sprinkling a little gratitude from your heart onto your food too, that helps a lot too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your food and your water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe one more thing. If anybody deals with heartburn, we don't want to rely on Pepto-Bismol or Tums or anything. We want to rely on our liquid, or like our bentonite clay, but also like having some apple cider vinegar during the day, whether it's in a salad dressing or in some water, or just like you can drizzle apple cider vinegar on your dinner food, whether it's meat or vegetables or whatever. Apple cider vinegar is going to help us stimulate more stomach acid so that we don't have heartburn. So just in case that's a problem for anybody, if we're doing like the Tums or anything, we're just exacerbating it and slowly making it worse over time, because it isn't a problem of having too much stomach acid. It's generally too little stomach acid.
Yeah.
So that's just one tip. If we're traveling, apple cider vinegar, that on a daily basis is going to help with stomach acid stuff. Yeah. Is there anything else that you can think of that's going to help all these people travel? Oh my God. Taking your enema kit. How have we not talked about enemas?
Oh, but that's what I was going to say earlier, but yeah, you can take your enema kit with you, or they do have travel kits, like a flatter kit. But if you're a bucketer, like I'm a bucketer, you can stuff your socks in your bucket.
Exactly.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, that's what I do too. And the bucket is like, it'll be fine in the suitcase. You just fill it full of your clothes. Yeah, but the bucket is great. So yeah, when you're doing your enemas on your trip, it works way better if the water is warm. When I was just on vacation a couple months ago, I was using just my Kangen water out of my jug, and it was not warm. And it's like, it just doesn't move things as well. But still, like any enema, like it's going to be better than nothing. But an enema will provide you quite instantaneous relief. And again, even if you can only put a little bit of water up your butt in the form of an enema, even if it just moves a little bit of stuff out, remember that invites everything else to move and shuffle down. So everything is going to keep moving. So even if you're like, oh, I only got a little bit out, or like, you stop somewhere to poop and you can only get like a nugget out. It's okay, girl or boy. Stay positive, keep breathing, keep jiggling your belly, go for like a little run if we can or whatever. And even just a little bit coming out, everything gets to shuffle down the tube, and it still is helpful. I remember I used to get like so anxious if I could only get a little bit out, but it's like, no, even that little bit is still helpful.
For sure. And drinking warm water in the morning first thing, that's another way to get your digestive tract working. And then also not drinking, like if you can drink like your drink before you eat, and then maybe after, like minimize how much you're drinking while you're eating, because it dilutes the stomach acids and the juices for digestion. So really you shouldn't drink at all while you're eating your meal. You should drink before and you should drink after. But I know socializing and stuff like that, we drink during. But that's just something that you can do if you choose to. But definitely drinking the warm water in the morning. Chris wants to know if you chew with your mouth open or closed. You could do either. As long as you chew it all the way.
The ears around us always, I think, prefer when our mouths are closed. And also, if our lips are closed, then no bugs can fly in or anything. Yeah,
you minimize the risk of eating a bug for sure,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
grossing people out.
Oh, exactly. And hang on the topic of warm water first thing in the morning, and like we don't just mean like, oh, sip your warm water in the morning. It's like, no, chug that warm water in the morning so that it can be like a little mini gorgeous tidal wave working through your intestines to push some stuff out, right? Don't just sip it, but like chug that stuff.
Yeah. And like when, if you can avoid drinking ice water, that's good too. If you think about when you're eating your meal, if it's like French fries or something like that, and you're drinking really cold water with it, you're just like making that oil, all those oils get like hardened.
Yeah.
So that's just something, food for thought,
Yeah. No, that's perfect. No, that's absolutely perfect. Yeah. Yeah. We never want to be putting together things that are cold and fat and sugary because like none of those things can digest properly together. And that just means inflammation, weight gain, indigestion, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Is the timer not cutting us off? I'm always rushed at the 60-minute mark here, but is it treating us differently now? Weird.
Maybe we're special. But
Maybe
I mean, I
special.
think we covered everything.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. And everybody remember, like, it's worth intelligently planning for your travel. It's worth it in a way of your bowels. Like, that's always something that's kind of like at the forefront of my mind when I have travel plans, because knowing like, if I don't plan this out, I'm going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to be not sexy. And also when you're constipated, normally like you crave more food because it's like when we're constipated, we are actively like, we're just growing those colonies of yeast. We are growing those parasite families. So it's like those things are hungry. So like, right? Yeah. Like when I'm constipated, I'm like, give me bread now. Give me all the bread. Where are my pastries? I'm a chocolate croissant girl. Right? And it's like, I don't even get thirsty. I just get hungry, hungry, hungry. So in that way, right, it's like we need to plan for our bowels. And it's like, I don't want my skin to break out. I don't want to be crabby. I don't want to gain weight on this trip. I don't want to get sick on my way home. Like, right, all of those things are all related to how well or how mindful are we being about what our bowels are going to do, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and you don't want to be in a situation where you're clogging an airport toilet like me, or having to reach for the gloves and lube like Kimberly. Like, and I've been there once, Kimberly, and I didn't have a glove. I didn't have a glove. But and it's bewildering. Like for anybody that's ever had to actually like dislodge a brick of your own poop out of your own body, it's like that is I don't know if shameful is the word, but like for me, it was very emotional. It's bewildering. It's like, it's gross feeling. It's like, it's very like taboo. It's secretive feeling. It's like, it's such a weird thing. Yeah.
I was just so relieved that I didn't get it.
But like now you tell the story years later, or would you even tell the story that day?
Oh, well, some people knew what was going on, but yeah. I mean, I have some poop stories for sure.
Yeah. Maybe we should do one of these where we share our worst poop stories.
Oh, yes. Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. And if anybody wants to send in their poop stories, and also maybe we can do, I don't know, like more of a Q&A one again, if people want to do send in Qs, and we'll give out some A's.
We can bring people in and they can talk about their poop stories.
Okay. We can bring people in? Okay, cool.
We can bring people in. We can bring, I don't know how many, but we can bring one person at a time. Come on, we want to hear your poop stories. Oh, we've got to do that.
Okay. Could we even do like impromptu like consults and stuff for anybody that's just open about it and who wants like ideas? Because that would be an amazing way of group learning. Yep. That would be an amazing way of group learning, because really like we all have different things to heal that are all related to our digestive tracts, whether it's skin stuff, whether it's emotional stuff, whether it's like bipolar stuff, whether it's like IBS, IBD, colitis, Crohn's, PCOS, what else? You name it, it's related to your pooper. Yeah, and we all like how we heal one of those things is basically how we heal most all of these things. Like it all comes down to the same extremely simple principles that even most of the holistic practitioners and stuff out there still don't even understand, which is unfortunate, So like healing is simple, sacred shit.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris says you guys are too cute.
Oh, well, good if we are cute while we are delivering a shitty message.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Okay,
All
good.
about- Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else that we want to talk about? We talked about psyllium bentonite, vitamin C daily, oil of oregano, the right foods, not the wrong foods, smooth move tea. Is anything left that we have that would be brilliant for people? Oh, hang on. One more thing. Magnesium calm.
Oh,
You know that is
shit.
such a good
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And they have it like in a powder that you can, put into hot water and drink at night or during the day. But that is so good for bowel movements. When I was at Whole Foods the other day, they also have it in gummies, magnesium calm gummies. So that's going to help you sleep. It's going to relax your muscles. It's going to relax your butt, and it's going to help you poop really good.
Brilliant.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's all I got for tonight. You got anything more?
That's it.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for being here with us.
Yeah.
Kimberly, do you have time if I quickly give you a phone call and we'll figure out what we need to figure out?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we love you all.
Love you.
Yeah. We'll see you guys. And I'm sorry that I couldn't see anybody coming on. I couldn't see anybody's comments. We'll try to figure out why I can't see anything. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We love you guys. Okay. Bye.